Welcome. The power of habit, 3 reasons your habits don't last, and how to make them stick. Okay, so you want to create healthy, effective habits, but maybe you've tried some before and they last for a little while, and then you slip back and you're like, why does this keep happening to me? Why can't I just keep these healthy habits? We're going to go over that. And hey, that's me. If you don't know me, I am Megan Barrett, and I'm a holistic health coach, also a CrossFit coach. I've been doing both coaching for over 10 years now. So I help people to lose weight, feel fulfilled and confident in their bodies without relying on the scale or feeling super overwhelmed. So this whole habits part kind of goes into that super overwhelmed part, that really the actions that you're taking should be small, your goals should be big, but the actions to get there shouldn't be crazy overwhelming in order to get there. So we're going to go over that. And this is interactive. If you'll have a question, feel free to just come on in. So here's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about your baseline, what a habit actually is, 3 reasons they don't stick, 3 actions to make your habits stick, the cost of not changing, and then talk about fall into consistency for any of those watching that have not signed up yet, and then also a little reminder for those that have. Okay, one note on environment. Has anybody read Atomic Habits? It's a great book. If you haven't read it, have you read it? Awesome. It's a great book. If you have not read it, I do highly suggest it. I've read it like 3 or 4 times. A lot of these ideas on habits come from James Clear and his Atomic Habits. But one thing he really talks about is environment. And he says one of the most effective things you can do to build habits is to join a culture where your desired behaviors are the normal behavior. So the easiest way to make your behavior a habit is to surround yourself with people that are doing the same thing. That's why CrossFit works so well. That's why fall into consistency is so awesome, because you are working with a group of people that are working towards the same thing that you are. And when that is the norm, it becomes a lot easier for you to make that a habit too. All right, so baseline. Let's talk about that. It is your current level. So everyone has a baseline right now. So whatever habits and behaviors you have had in the past have given you the results that you have right now. Whether you like your results or not, it's all led up of everything that you do consistently over time. So that is your current level right now. I like to think of it like a video game. So you're on a specific level, in a video game. Let's say you're like level 2, and you really want to move up to level 3. So you're probably going to have to try to do things that you've never done before in order to move up to that level. And what's going to happen? Most of the time, you don't move up to that level the first time. You do something, you miss some jump or something, like, oh man, okay, I got to go over and try that again. I learned from that and try it again. That's the same thing. Is most likely you'll fail. Something might not go wrong, but you still keep trying to move up to that level. And the other thing with the baseline is that's like where you are right now. So with fall into consistency, one of the reasons I chose fall is because summer and the holidays are when most people gain weight or go off of their habits and their consistency. And if you've been to Costco lately, you know that Christmas is coming, because they already have Christmas trees and everything out. So the idea with this program is to get your baseline to another level. All right, so if your baseline is at another level and you fall back, say during the holidays, instead of going down here, you're coming to this level right here because of your new habits and your new level that you are at. And what the idea is over time, that baseline keeps getting higher and higher. So when we do have those times, because I'm not going to say you're never going to have those times again, things are going to happen. You're going to go on vacations, celebrations, things like that. But when you do slip back, you go back to that baseline that you've already established. Does that make sense? Okay, cool. All right, process versus results. So here's the thing. People tend to understand this with other things other than their health, but not with like losing weight and eating. So if you eat healthy one day, do you expect to step on the scale and be like, oh, why didn't I lose weight? Because I ate healthy one day. Now, one day is a little bit extreme, but a lot of people will be like, you know, I ate really healthy for a week, a month. Why am I not seeing the results yet? And it's because it's the process. So I like to say it's kind of like your retirement account. Who here has a retirement account? Okay, right. Probably some of us have had a retirement account longer than others. But after after 2 months, do you look at your retirement account and you look at it and you're like, oh my God, I can't retire on that. I'm just gonna give up. Screw this. I don't have the money, right? No, because we understand that money compounds over time. right? And that's how you're gonna get to your retirement account. The same happens with your habits. Those small actions that you do over time compound into those larger results. So it's kind of like, same with like watering a seed, right? You plant a seed, you keep watering it, right? Each day, you have no idea when it's actually gonna sprout, but you have the faith that it's going to sprout at some time. So you keep watering it. That's the same thing. You just keep doing your habits, and one day it's going to sprout into whatever that plant is right there. I'm not really sure. All right, and then I think this is a super important question to ask yourself. If you get frustrated and quit, does that bring you any closer to your goals? 99% of the time, the answer is no. It can be difficult and you may want to quit, but if you keep moving forward, you're going to be closer to reaching your goal than if you quit. And then this is also focusing on what you can control, especially with weight loss. I know a lot of people, yeah.
Oh, you can finish your thought, but it
No,
was
go ahead.
about the last thing you said.
Yeah.
I am very much so the person that is like, oh, this is annoying,
Yep.
or like, I am not losing weight in a week, so then I stop.
Yep.
But then I just made the point to him where you were like, does that bring you closer to your goal? But then in my head, my next thing is like, oh, well, it's fine. Like,
Yeah.
I'll just do a different goal then. Like, or like switch it, or like forget about it.
Yeah.
So that's what, like, is
We'll get a little bit more into that part too. A little bit later. I am gonna address that, like, okay, switching goals, is this what I want? We're gonna get to that. But here's another part of it. It's focusing on what you can control. Let me tell you, you could do everything right and still not lose weight because you cannot control the number on a scale. What you can control is the actions that you take towards becoming a healthier person. And it's also looking at, like, what is your goal? Is your goal really a number on the scale? Or is your goal to feel more confident, healthier, to live a long life? So you gotta look at, like, what the actual goal is. Because if it's not the number on the scale, then really the number on the scale is, one, not something you can control, and two, something that really doesn't matter in the end. So it's also getting clear on that, which we'll get to that. That is an excellent question. All right, so what is a habit? Habits are unconscious. So basically it's something that you've done so many times that your subconscious now takes over. Your brain is like super smart, and there is so much information coming at you all day, every day, that it tries to be as effective as possible. So it streamlines things, right? You know, if you've ever had, like, it's a holiday or something and all of a sudden you find yourself driving to work or driving the kids to school, that's because it's become a habit and it's unconscious. So in order to change a habit or instill a new habit, you must bring the unconscious to your conscious. So you must be aware of it first. And that comes from deliberate practice. So in order for anything to become a habit first, you have to keep practicing it and think about it and really practice it before it becomes a habit. And we talked about this a bit if you have been getting the emails. There's three things in a habit. There's the trigger, the action, and a reward. All right, so something happens, like let's say you get stressed out, I grab some chocolate, which is the action, and then the reward is that I feel better and I feel less stressed out because of it. And there's that loop. Now, if you don't get that reward, the loop does not get closed. So that's why, for one, in Fall into Consistency, if you've already registered, you saw that we have a calendar that you check it off. That's like your celebration. It actually gives you a little hit of dopamine. Does anybody ever feel good, like literally when you check something off your list? Like, I feel good when that happens because you actually get a hit of dopamine, which is your feel-good hormone. So your body recognizes, like, hey, the last time I did that, that actually felt really good. I'm gonna do it again. So that's a really important part, especially when we are looking to instill new habits, is that reward and get that dopamine. So here's a quote I really love by John Maxwell. Doing a little bit every day is a lot more important than doing a lot someday, right? We all have, like, oh, I'm gonna start my diet on Monday. Okay, in the new year, I'm gonna do this, or you go for something big. First of all, someday is where dreams go to die. Most of the time when people say, I'm gonna do something someday, it usually doesn't happen, all right? So what he's talking about, this little bit every day, those are your habits and your behaviors and your actions that you do every single day. So if you went on, say, a 2-minute walk, that is going to be much more effective than if you do a 10-minute walk one time a week.
Would you stop eating that one?
Wasn't sure what that's on. Then if you did like a 10, or if you want to add it all the way up, a 14-minute walk once a week. right? Because you are instilling that pattern with the 2 minutes, and also if you miss that one day, you've totally missed all of it. Whereas you miss 1 2-minute walk, okay, you miss one day, all right, no worries, it's a habit, I'm getting back to it the next day. So once again, your actions create your habits, and your habits create your results. Okay, so we're gonna get into the reasons your habits don't last. All right, the 21-day BS. Has anyone ever heard it takes 21 days to get a new habit started? Yes? Okay. I don't know who came up with that, but they are a genius marketer because it is total BS. Total BS. Does anybody have any idea how long it actually does take?
A long time.
6 months, a long time.
I thought it was 3
days.
weeks.
All right. It takes anywhere from 18 to 254 days is actually, they've done tests on this, and that is the range. So let's say it's your New Year's resolution. It could take you anywhere from January 18th until like today, September 28th, for it to become a habit. Because there's so many factors in it. And one of the biggest factors is, are you really being consistent? Okay, and this is being like really like brutally honest with yourself of, are you being consistent with it? Are you doing it every single day? And a lot of times people will be like, okay, like, so what's like a percent? And I don't have an exact percentage, but it's maybe in a month you've missed 2 to 3 days, okay? There's so many people out there that are like, hey, I'm hardcore on my diet during the week, like Monday through Friday at lunch, I'm good. Friday night through Sunday, it goes in the trash. That's like 30-35% of your food. So that's not really being consistent if it's only during the week than on the weekend. I'm not sure what that beep was.
I think someone's in the way.
Oh, admit. Should have been. There we go. Okay. Audio. Oh, can they not hear me? Oh man, it was muted. Dang, you couldn't hear me, could you?
You take something on this time.
It's okay. I have another record. See, this is why I do backup recording. We're good. It's all good. Can you hear me now?
Did you unmute it? I'm a teacher. Hold on.
You get it?
There you go. Can you hear now?
Can you hear now? Why is it on safe driving mode? It says, can you hear me?
Is it one on the focus, on your focus? Like, drop down the screen.
Which one?
Click focus. It's hot here.
Where?
So like the
Yeah,
actual
it's
like
freaking
Apple,
out.
that
And
mean
then
like
it's
top bar? Yeah.
I
No, it
just
doesn't have a focus on or
want to blast
anything.
the mice.
Why is it on safe?
I have no idea.
Oh, I think you
They have
put
like
it in there.
Are they
Maybe
still?
like slide back over.
But then it like mutes me, because then I come back here and it says your microphone is muted. Okay, I don't know. All right, we're gonna roll with this, and I'm sorry on Zoom if you couldn't hear me. Hopefully you can hear me now. If someone else comes in, can you let them in? That's what we got, the teacher sitting over there. We're good. Okay. All right. Oh, so I already skipped over. Okay, so the next one, you're making it hard. All right. So I had mentioned this before. Goals are big and actions are small. I say kiss it. Keep it stupid small. So it should be on a scale of 1 to 10, a 9 or a 10 of something that you can do every day. Like 90 to 100% certainty that you can do it. So if you're like, that's like why these New Year's resolutions don't work, of people that are like, oh, I'm gonna go to the gym 2 hours a day, I'm not gonna eat any sugar, and I'm gonna do all these things. Like, on your worst day, are you gonna be able to keep up with those things? No. But if you made it your habit that I'm gonna go walk 2 minutes a day, even if it's 9:30 at night and it's raining outside, you can walk around your house for 2 minutes, right? That's something that you can keep up and you can keep consistent. And you make it so small so that you do get to that consistency. And then once you're good with that, then you add a little bit more, and then you add a little bit more. And then it also doesn't feel super overwhelming either. All right, the last one, you don't want it and or you don't believe in yourself. So we're getting into this part, right? Okay, so get really honest with yourself if that is something that you want, right? Whatever your goal is, if it's something that you want. I use this example. I was working with somebody that said they wanted to lose weight. We've been working together a couple months. She's just not really making any changes, and I'm like, hey, like, why do you want to lose weight? She's like, well, I'm like maybe like 5 to 10 pounds overweight, and I just feel like I should lose weight. And I was like, okay, well, like, do you want to take the actions you need to lose weight? You know, like start tracking your food, see what you're eating, make some changes to your diet. She's like, no, I don't. I'm like, okay, that's cool. Like, let it go. Like, if that's really what you don't want to do, then like take that stress off of yourself and let it go. Because it may not be what you want to do right now. You may want to lose weight later on, but if it's not something you want to do, you're just stressing yourself out over it because you feel you should, then just let it go. Like, honestly, if you get nothing else from this whole habits thing, if that's not what you want to do, like, relieve yourself of that stress, and I almost guarantee you that if you do that, you'll probably start losing weight because you'll be less stressed out about it too. All right, so, and then just to close the loop, I asked her, I said, hey, what do you want to do? And she said, I want to buy a beach house. And I was like, cool, so what are you going to do to buy a beach house? Like, what are the actions you're going to take to do that? Start taking actions for that, because it was something she really wanted to do. If the best reason you can come up with is because I feel like I should, or because my partner wants me to do it, or something like that, that's not really a strong enough reason to give you the why to do it. And the second part is, or you don't believe in yourself. So do you trust what you say to yourself? Most people, that's a no, because we continually lie to ourselves. We say, oh, I'll get to the gym tomorrow. Oh, I'm gonna start that diet tomorrow. Oh, it's gonna be on Monday. Oh, I'm gonna try better next week. Oh, I'm gonna eat better. And then when we don't follow through on that, we don't believe ourselves. It's the same like if your friend said they were gonna show up to coffee and drink coffee with you, and she bailed 3 times, and the 4th time she's like, hey, let's meet up. Do you really think she's gonna show? Probably not. So it's the same thing with yourself too. Okay, so now we know the reasons your habits don't last. 21-day BS, you're making it too hard and you don't want it or don't trust yourself. So now we're gonna go over the 3 things to make your habits last. The first one is lower the resistance, get clear on what you want, and then get money in your self-trust bank account. Okay, so number 1 is lower the resistance. So it doesn't have to be hard. I almost guarantee you, everybody in here, including myself, you're making it harder on yourself than you need to. I really realized this when I made a goal of that I wanted to meditate, and I tried all those 10-minute meditations and things like that, or have it here and there. And I was finally like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna meditate 30 seconds a day. 30 seconds. That's where I'm gonna start. I'm gonna make it a habit. And so it was so small and stupid that it was like, if I didn't do that, it's stupid if I didn't do it, right? I get in bed, I'm ready to go to bed. It's like, oh, dang, I forgot it. It's like, okay, I can close my eyes for 30 seconds. It would be stupid if I was like, oh, I'm gonna skip it and try it again tomorrow. And that's how it became a habit. And then I made it a minute, and then 3 minutes, and you slowly add on and add on. All right, so here's the other one. Get clear on what you want. What do you want? Do you really, really want? Spice Girls, I know, it's a reference that you know Spice Girls? Okay, good. All right, so this is getting clear on what you want. Once again, asking yourself if this is something that you actually really want and that you want to take the actions in order to get there. Here's a cool story. Did anybody ever hear about, I forget what year it was, the English rowing team? They had never won an Olympics, and they got this new coach in, and basically they just kept asking themselves, will it make the boat go faster? So with all their actions that they took, they asked themselves, will this make the boat go faster? So it's like, hey, should I go to this party with my friends tonight? Will it make the boat go faster? Probably not. Hey, should I get in this strength training today? Will it make the boat go faster? Probably. And so just asking themselves that helped them to make those choices to get towards what they want. So how you can do this, 1, you can ask yourself, will it make the boat go faster, if that works for you? Or you can say, what would future me do? So if you're able to be like, this is my goal, this is where I want to be in the future, you can be like, oh, would future me do this? Like if I want to lose weight, would future Megan eat those cookies that Brian just put on my laptop? Probably not, because that's not what Megan at X amount of weight, however I want to feel, is doing. Or if that's like a little out there for you, think about a person who is who you want to be or has what you want to do. So let's say I want to go to the CrossFit Games, right? I'd be like, would Tia Claire Toomey do this? Would she do that, right? So if you don't see it from like your future self, think about somebody who has or is what you want to be. All right, last one. Get money in your self-trust bank account. So your self-trust bank account has credits and debits, and we talked about that. So every time you say that you're gonna do something, to yourself and you follow through on it, that is a credit in your account. That is money in the bank. Every time you say you're going to do something and you don't, that is money out of your bank. And the easiest way to get more money in there is to do those small things over and over and over and over again. And you create that trust. And it's been proven in studies that your self-trust is tied to your self-confidence. And those that have higher self-confidence are far more likely to reach their goals too. So, money in the bank. All right, everyone have their phone? Everyone's got their phone, right? All right, grab your phone, put a note. Just gonna double check. Grab a note. Your microphone, okay, I'm still unmuted. I don't even know if anyone's in there. That's still recording, good, okay. All right, so I don't want y'all to overthink this right now. I just want you to pick some goal, any kind of goal. Say, I will, whatever it is you want to do.
Is this a long-term goal or?
It can be long-term, it can be short-term, anything. Just some kind of goal, something that you want to achieve. Yeah, I was like, are you good or are you still thinking? Okay, now, from that, I want you to pick an action. So here's how the action's gonna read. It's gonna say, I will, whatever your action is, at the time, at the place. So here's what it looks like. So let's say I wanna lose weight. So I will input my food into MyFitnessPal at 6 a.m. at my desk. Or if you wanna read more, I will read 3 pages at 9 p.m. in my bed, okay? Now I know not for every single action are you gonna be able to pick a specific time and place, but if you are one or both of those, you will be far more likely to be consistent with it if you can choose the same time and place that you do it. So go ahead and pick an action. And remember, this action should be super small, something that you can do with 90 to 100% certainty. Okay, does everyone have an action? So also, this right here, this blue part, this is what you're gonna be doing for the final 2 weeks of Fall into Consistency as well. The first 4 weeks are actions that are all planned out for you, and the last 2 weeks, you are gonna pick an action specific to your goal that you're gonna carry out for the last 14 days. So it can be the action that you just chose right now. If you find one that you like during Fall into Consistency that you want to keep with that one, you can do that one too. Okay, so cost of not changing. So there's a cost for everything in life, as we learn when we're adults. So the easiest way I see to get this across is through money. So let's say you make $100,000 a year and your goal is to make $400,000 a year. So your cost of not changing is then $300,000, right? Because that's the difference between those two numbers. Now you have to take that into account. Like, let's say somebody comes around and you've heard of this super reputable coach that for say $30,000, they will ensure that you get $300,000 additional in your bank, in your payment. So essentially for $30,000, you're then getting your $300,000. Is that worth it to you? Obviously there's other factors in that, like is it gonna happen? But essentially, if that is the case, yes, $30,000 would be worth the payout of $300,000. Now, looking at it, say from like a weight loss standpoint, 25 pounds versus wherever you wanna be. Now the weight is different for different people. Like what does that 25 pounds what is the cost of not changing for that? It could be that you don't feel confident, that you don't feel good in your clothes, that you're not able to run around with your kids, that you're not able to play the sports that you want to play, that there's medical bills that you have to pay, and other things like that. So your cost of not changing on that isn't always a number, but there is the cost of not changing if that's where you want to be. So what do you want versus what is your cost of not changing? And essentially, really the goal for everybody is to keep playing the game. The goal in life is to keep playing the game of life and to be healthy and to enjoy it and to keep playing, right? That's your prize, is that you, oh, I went back. You get to keep playing the game, all right? And so you kind of just have to decide for yourself if that is what you really want, one, and then what is it worth it to you? What is the cost of changing and what's the cost of not changing? And for one, fall into consistency, $59. I think that's a great cost of changing. All right, so anybody know who this is?
Kobe Bryant.
Yes. Late great Kobe Bryant. He has an amazing quote on 1% Better. He says, at the end of every day, you look at yourself in the mirror and you ask yourself, did I get better today? If the answer is yes, and you do that for 5, 10, 15 years, how much better are you gonna be? Are you getting better every single day? And if you're interested, I'm gonna email this out. It's like a really good video that he has there. So basically he's talking about your habits that you do every single day. And when you do those small actions every single day and get 1% better over every day, that's gonna compound over that 5, 10, 15 years. All right, so let's take action. So if you're still tired of things going well for a while and seeing results and then slipping back, if you're not sure what you really want, or you want to stick to new and effective habits, you want to get to that new level, so maybe once we hit the holidays, you're not sliding all the way back, and you want to bring more consistency without feeling overwhelmed, we have Fall Into Consistency. It's 6 weeks of daily action, daily emails. You also get the calendar to keep track. So now you guys also know that are already registered in Fall Into Consistency what that calendar is really for. One, you're gonna get your points off of it, but two, it's really to close that habit loop of that reward. So you check it off, give yourself a high five, dance, whatever you wanna do, get that reward and that hit of dopamine. You can make it your own, as simple or complex as you want. So throughout it, you can choose basically what you get your point on is that specific day, that one action for that day. Now, if you want to keep stacking up those habits, you most certainly can. Or if you're like, hey, I really liked the eating a vegetable, but I didn't like the drinking water before lunch, then just stick with the vegetable ones. You can pick and choose the ones that you want to keep around too. 2 weeks to work on your specific goal and action, what we just did. You're gonna have 2 weeks to get consistency and work on that every single day. And you have a bunch of support, once again, talking about that environment, and also there have been so many studies just showing that when you're part of a group and you have that accountability, you are much more likely to follow through on your goals. Yeah, like CrossFit. And with Fall Into Consistency, you get me, you get my daily emails, we have the group WhatsApp chat, and you get your own accountability buddy, because that's way more fun to say. My husband, I guess it's from South Park, I don't know. My husband sent me it and I was like, okay, that's way more fun to say than accountability partner. So we went with accountability buddy. There's prizes. First prize has a value over $200 for the first place prize. So for all of my competitive people over there, and consistency and a blueprint to create habits. So you will have this calendar. You can redo this whenever you want. You now know what you need to do in order to make your habits stick. So we're starting next week. So those that are signed up, it starts next week, Thursday, October 5th. You get to keep track every day. You can join with a partner or your accountability buddy, or I will put you with somebody that's really fun, and it's only $59. So cost of not changing, $59, totally worth it. Questions? Any questions? My goal was like around 30 minutes.
You're doing good.
Even with my checking of the phone, I know I talk a little fast too. I try to slow down.
You got better as it went on.
Were you a little concerned in the beginning?
In the beginning was a little rough, but you got really good.
What does that mean? Those are just vague terms.
Now look, how about the goal setting?
Okay.
Like, let's say you want me to go little, but I want to go. Can I
You're-
choose my own goal?
No, your goal should be big.
Okay.
The goal is big, but the action that you choose to take towards that goal should be little. Yeah.
Like realistically, do I want to run 5 minutes? No, it's stupid. But it'll get me to run
Yeah.
a mile every day
Wow.
at some point.
Yeah. So here's the thing too. It's like once you start those things, right? Most people aren't just gonna, for most days, you're not gonna lace up your shoes and only go run for 5 minutes, right? That's the minimum. You hit that, that's awesome. If you go run for a mile, that's great. But here's the thing. Here's the day that you get home, like work was crappy, your car broke down, all the bad things happened that day. Can you still go lace up your shoes and go on a 5-minute run or a 5-minute walk? Yeah. And then you're still keeping that consistency. But if your goal was, I'm gonna run 1 mile every single day, and that happened that day and you get home, you're probably gonna be like, heck no. Like,
See, you might be able to get away with that though.
do you want to share yours?
Oh.
No, okay.
No, but like you might be able to get away with tweaking your actions a little bit.
Yeah, I'm a big action.
He's very like his self-trust bank account
Is it overflowing?
It's like really big. So
He's got the self-confidence.
I think he's.
Well, I just didn't want to set unreasonably low expectations, so I'm gonna go for something very comfortable. Now that you've re-explained it, it makes total sense.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do 5 minutes unless that's all I could get done. This is a horrible day.
Yeah.
It's a great start.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
It doesn't
Box.
mean, it doesn't
Check the
mean,
box.
it doesn't mean that that's
Because I'll
all that
probably
you
still
do,
more,
right?
But at least I did that.
Yeah,
All I gotta
exactly.
do
At
is
least you
connect.
did that and you can check that off.
I like how you
There was,
said that.
in Atomic Habits, the book, there was a guy talking about a guy that was very overweight, and he just started by literally going to the gym because he was so intimidated to go to the gym that his first goal was just to step into the gym. That was it. So he just started going to the
That's
gym,
my everyday CrossFit.
getting there. Yeah. So that, yeah, that was his big thing, was to go
say-
there, and then he went for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And then he went for 10 minutes, but he made it manageable for him and the level that he was at right then. Okay, so you may get to a level where 1 mile, that's stupid small to you, right? It just may not be the level that you're at right now, but we're still trying to level up to get to that. So that's why the stupid small is going to be specific to you and where you're at right now. And it can always change too, right? Things can happen in life, and you may have to like re-level up or start somewhere else. But you always just go with where you are at right now, so you can get that money in your bank account too.
I thought that framing it in that way is really smart. Like just do like where if you did nothing else all day, like you could actually just do that.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's how small and stupid.
Yeah.
it is. That's a really nice way to frame it.
Yeah, and it's getting those wins, right? Because if you're beating yourself up over things that you haven't done, that's not very encouraging and not very great for your self-confidence. But if everything else goes wrong and you're still like, hey, I still walked for 5 minutes today, that's a win. That's great.
Yeah.
You got a win under your belt, and you focus on what you did do, and then you keep doing it. And it's cool. Like I talked about, like there's no specific number on it, but it's also like, hey, it's gonna happen. Even if it is stupid small, it's gonna happen. Days you might forget, other things happen, but then it's also like, okay, it's so small too that when a day comes by later, that you're able to pick it up, and it's not as overwhelming either. So you skip a day and it's like, oh, okay, that's cool. I'm gonna pick it up tomorrow.
You didn't miss your huge goal, and then it's
That's
twice
right.
as
Yeah.
painful the next day.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's be good for our kids.
Yeah, that's why